Welcome to the Can Wine Podcast, where we open cans of wine and talk about it. This is Season 4, Episode 38. We are churning along on these, and today we come back to North America, to the West Coast, in fact, to Anderson Valley of California, which is in Mendocino County, home of the International Canned Wine Competition, the first and in our estimation, best international canned wine competition in the world. So before we get to that, which we would call our can of the week, we need to talk about our canned wine word of the week, which on this Cinco de Mayo is cantina. And far from the Spanish term, although not, they have the same origin. A cantina in Italian is a winery. So there you have it. And all the way from the Queen City of Regina, Saskatchewan, we have Catherine, our wine aficionado, who is going to introduce our can of the week. Are you there, Catherine?
I am here, Brad, and I'm very pleased to finally get to introduce the 2023 Maker Chardonnay made by Handley Cellars. It's in 250ml can, 13% alcohol by volume, and I'm very excited to try this organically farmed, vegan-friendly Chardonnay.
Yeah, that's great. I know you're a big fan of Chardonnay, and getting you one of these was one of the key parts of our wine swap that day on the Trans-Canada Highway. And for those of you who are wondering why a Chardonnay when you've already announced and started the Rosé Roundup, well, there's a lot of logistical challenges to opening cans of wine. I mean, it's very easy to open by yourself at home, at the beach, whatever. But if you want your friends, and Catherine, I put you firmly amongst those that I would call a friend, to open the can simultaneously 3,500 miles away, there's a logistics problem, especially because makers cans are not available in Canada. So we got the cans up to Catherine, and then I came back to my wine cave, as I call it here, where I store my wines, and I'm like, where did my Chardonnay go? It might have been used to cook something with it. Canned wines are good for that because you can just open a can and pour out what you need. But at some point, I lost my copy because we have to have the copy there and the copy here. They're both opened, and then away we go. So I reordered from Makers. Makers, great company, interesting concept. They don't sponsor anything with us. We actually have to pay for these wines, but they make it easy. If you order a certain amount, it's free shipping, and it did come in, I think, 3 or 4 days. You do have to have somebody here, which can be a bit of a challenge, but it all worked out, and I managed to solve the logistics thing, get my can of Maker Chardonnay. Gosh, 6 or 8 months after you already had yours, right, Catherine?
Yeah, I've been waiting a long time to drink this one. You've been keeping me in suspense for all these months.
Yeah, and I appreciate your patience with that too, because we have opened other wines, but I did want to open this towards the end of winter, which we were 80 degrees here in New York today, and understand that you're much cooler, closer to 32, as we would say here, or 0 degrees, and had snow yesterday.
Yeah, we had a little bit of snow, unfortunately. It's been quite a cool spring, so
yeah.
I need a nice glass of Chardonnay to make me feel better about it all.
Well, this is a good way to kick off the spring and summer season, and I think you do.
Absolutely.
You do have a rosé, perhaps maybe two, that we're going to be going for the Rosé Roundup, which we're kind of in the middle, but hey, we're flexible. We're literally a few people opening cans of wine and talking about it. We don't have corporate sponsorship, government sponsorship. It's just whatever we can scrabble together when we go out on the little trap lines and find this stuff. But I'm going to talk a bit about the origins of this a little bit later. But right now, what can you tell us about the winemakers, Catherine?
Well, this is probably not the fact that they are going to want shared, but this one is made by Lulu Handley, and Lulu is my nickname for my cat. So, yeah, so this is a second generation. Lulu is the daughter of the person who originally started Handley. I didn't find out a lot of information about them beforehand, but I know it is a woman-owned company. So yeah, I don't know. Do you have any other things you want to say? I think it was founded in 1982, and the founder was Mila. Is that right? Mila Handley.
Yeah.
And she was the first female winemaker in the United States to establish a label with her own name.
Yeah, the Handley label was established by her in 1982, literally making some wine in her basement and doing it in her own way with kind of bucking a few trends and put it all together. And she had moved up to the Anderson Valley, which has a very unique terroir, and it's up in Mendocino County, which is, further north in Napa, and it wasn't really big wine country then, and she established her winery and really was a pioneer. And that feeds into the Makers Project, which is a group of women that feature minority-owned, women-owned, all kind of unusually, usually not represented wine companies, and they put it into cans specifically because it's easy to ship, and also it's very environmentally friendly. So they're all about that and all about getting these people's wines out there. And I mean, we've had quite a few. Did you enjoy the other Makers wines that we opened earlier in the season?
Yeah, we have had quite a few of these over the seasons, and I cannot say a bad thing about any single one of them. I've enjoyed every one that we've opened together. So
they do a great job, and Alan Green, the director of the International Canned Wine Competition, when we discussed the possibility of us becoming a sponsor, he said, "Oh, you really have to try these Maker wines," and he pointed me in the direction of them. And I could do an entire season probably, or at least a good part of it, featuring just their wines, because they're kind of the crafty niche wines that we like to talk about, and there's always a story behind it. On the can, there's a little QR code there that you can pop in and look at it and read it, and I mean, it really adds some character to the wine. And some of the wines that we do, like the 14 Hands or these other ones, they're made by rather large wine operations, and they don't have the character necessary of this. They can be very craftily made wines. And a number of the Maker wines have actually won gold medals and best in show in the international competition. Not this one in the last 2 years. I didn't go through the entire online repertoire. The International Canned Wine Competition has a pretty good website, and you can search and see what's out there. So they're highly recommended. I'm still angling to try and get Alan Green on to at least open one can of wine with us and give us a little bit of his philosophy as the founder. We've talked a lot about this particular wine and wines in general, but what else is it that we do on the Canned Wine Podcast, Catherine?
We open cans of wine and talk about it, and I think we should not delay this any further. I think it's time.
And I wanted to congratulate you on your patience, because I'm not saying greater men have failed at this, but a case could be made that there have been a few cases where logistically wines were distributed and plans were made and people had a bad day. And I have bad days too, but the wine never made it to a thing, because you have to have the wine, I have to have the wine, and that's where it comes together and we open it. So
I feel like you're just toying with me now, Brad.
I will toy with you no more. How about we open these cans of wine? I'm gonna.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Well, now, this is a very nice golden color. I don't have my handy wine chart with me, but I would give it a medium to dark gold. I smell, personally, I smell butter.
I get some butter and some green apple.
Green apple, yeah. I would say pineapple, but I don't know where that's coming from.
Yeah, maybe. There's something sort of citrusy in it, not in a lemony sort of way. So pineapple might be the one.
This wine has a lot of body. We went all out today for Cinco de Mayo. You could tell I'm wearing when you see this, you'll see that I'm wearing my California cadet cap, which is, I think that was a second or third generation canned wine hat. I know you have one packed away in your summer goodies because it's so cold there, but you were wearing the knit cap or the toque, which again was a prototype. Yep. That I'm not quite sure how I got you that one, but somehow I managed to pass it through. And that's great. And I really have to give a shout out and a toast to our friends from South Africa that were able to, they went on an epic road trip. We enjoyed visiting with them here. In fact, they opened a can of, was it a rosé or it might have, we picked it up at the Botanical Gardens, and that was featured on a short a while back that I didn't do an episode. I just opened up that can, or had the South Africans open it, and she quite enjoyed it and is a big fan of the. Was able to travel across North America in a roundabout way and got you an additional supply of canned wine. So cheers to them. That's our shout out for this week.
Yes, absolutely. Big shout out to them. I love anyone who shows up on my doorstep with a box full of wine. So.
Secrets revealed.
Yeah.
But we will definitely be sending them one of our fantastic New York postcards. We went down to the Botanical Gardens with them and had just a great time watching they have a orchid show, and this year it was based on New York scenes. They actually had a dumpster full of orchids and a bodega full of orchids and a car wash made of orchids and even a taxi. Let's see, is there one here? Yeah, if you could see up close, there's some Crown Victorias there. There was a Crown Victoria going through a car wash made of orchids. So they really went out on the New York themes, and it was fantastic. And with any of these touristy type things, the key is to get there when it opens and get the heck out. Take your time, because by the time lunchtime comes around, it's just hammered, you know. So we were leaving by the time the crowds were there, and really enjoyed it. But thanks again. I'll toast that 3 times. Cheers, and appreciate you guys doing that. What could you pair this with, Catherine? Illuminate us.
Well, I am going to pair this with something that my ex-partner and I used to refer to as macho salad, and I don't know where that name came from, but it was basically salad that had absolutely everything you could think of to put in it. So it'll be romaine and goat cheese, feta, and pumpkin seeds, and walnuts, and avocado, and cucumber, and there's more. I just can't remember all the dates. And then I've got a lemon vinaigrette that I made, so I think this will go quite nicely with that.
Do you say that's a macho salad?
That's what we always called it, yeah. And I don't know if we found a recipe that was called that at one time, but it's basically like a big hearty salad for dinner instead of,
oh, that's cool.
Having it as a side, yeah.
Well, it is Cinco de Mayo, so you can probably imagine what I'll be pairing this with.
Mm-hmm.
Tacos.
Yeah.
And it's Tuesday. So
perfect.
Things have come together in this weird cosmic convoluted thing, and I was happy to open this because I knew that this Chardonnay would go really well with the Mexican food. And I was checking out a new a Mexican food that I hadn't hadn't tried before, but the people seem legit. They're very friendly, and they had a special on because it was Taco Tuesday. They kept it even though it was Cinco de Mayo. I was in there at lunchtime, ordered it, and then picked it up later and got it home here with guacamole, which was fantastic. Lots of avocados, onions, tomatoes all mixed up, and their hot sauce selection was really ripping and great. So it,
Yum.
it'll go well with this, but you could also match this with any sort of charcuterie or a beach
Yeah.
or any sort of summer activities. Are you tasting much oak in this?
Not very much, I would say. Just that there is a buttery
Yeah.
sort of undertone, not just the smell. Yeah.
Well, most Chardonnays are prepared using a malolactic fermentation, which is a secondary bacterial fermentation that converts some of the acetic acids and other wine type things into a buttery type lactic acid. So that's where that comes from, and they've done a good job of it with this.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers to them.
Yeah,
And
I think they
Handley
describe
Cellars.
it on their site as being balanced, and I think that's actually a really, I think that's a good description. It's not too oaky, it's not, butter bomb or whatever. It's not too citrusy. It's just that nice,
No.
a really nice blend.
Unfortunately, this is the last 2 cans we have. So until we get some more for next time. Annie, who was down here last week, and we actually took a maker's wine to the top of the Empire State Building. I haven't published the pictures yet. No, off we went, and we did a little Photoshop. And granted, it was a New York day, meaning it was a brutal spring day with blustery winds and rain, and we were up there. As I said, you want to get there when it opens, so we were at the top by 10 o'clock in the morning, and it was windier than heck. But we did get a few shots, and he was wearing a canned wine knit cap, so we were represented, and it was the Maker's Sparkling Red. Did we open that one together?
Gosh, I'd have to go back and look. I feel like
Yeah.
we've opened so many together that I'm losing track.
And that said, I'd like to give you a shout out. It's great that because it's people could say, oh, it's easy, you just get a can of wine and open it and talk about it, but you actually do some research, and the important part is that you hold on to the wine, and the fantastic artistic pictures I'm just announcing, if anyone didn't realize, those are taken in Regina, Saskatchewan by Catherine, and we really appreciate those because it gives you a bit of a climactic thing and some rustic rocks, and it looks really good. And I'm sure that helped build your anticipation as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wait till my irises come out, then we'll have to find some nice matching cans for those purples.
Well,
Get those in there.
purple and rosé goes pretty good together, so you might have to shoot it after we open the can. But those we have some irises coming up here right now too. I wrestled a 7-foot tall white pine from Jacques' place into the Odyssey and back here, and planted it. And at the end of the night, I was just in agony. I don't know what I twisted, but Dr. Monk has seemed to have crinkled that out. So cheers to Dr. Monk. Much appreciated.
Yeah, we want you to still be able to do this podcast as well as your gardening. So
Yeah, and we're at episode 38. This is kind of the 11th hour, if you will, of the podcast, because we've done 38 episodes. And it's a lot of time and energy, And like I said, we don't have corporate sponsors. Nobody gives us wine, although hats off and cheers to Chillmark Wine, that I'll be featuring Chillmark Wines and Spirits, who did actually give me a few cans of rosé. I've been in there a few times and bought from them, and we were discussing the podcast, and they're supporters, and said, here, try this rosé. They gave me a couple of cans, or a couple of 4-packs of rosé. I gave some of them to Amy, a friend of mine who's a big wine fan, and we have a wine tasting coming up that I do with them typically once a year. And she's always curious about cans, but I twisted her arm and got her to try one, and she quite enjoyed it. Now, typically we pour it into a cup or a glass, but Amy decided to take the bull by the horns and drink it straight from the can. So that's to each their own. I like to look at it and let it breathe a little bit, but it was a very nice rosé and a French rosé. So hats off to Chillmark for helping us out. But the point was, we don't get corporate sponsorship. We're completely independent, and quite frankly, if it doesn't taste great, we just won't even publish it, because there's no point in, if you can't say anything nice, why bother at all? Because a lot of effort goes into each one. We might be, like right now, we're 25 minutes into it, but it takes several hours of editing and cutting and all clipping out the this and that and putting it all together, adding photos. So it can be a long process. And at this point, I'm kind of not burnt, but just sort of like, maybe there's a better way. Because when it was just a straight up audio podcast, it was cut it, print it, and send it. But now the video is something else. You got to worry about what you're wearing. I'm wearing an Indonesian batik today because I don't have Mexican clothing or even anything. I don't even own a poncho. So there you go. But I digress. And thanks again, Catherine. Yes. Our shout outs have been shouted out. And now our head scratcher. And as always, we like to fixate on years and such. What year did the originator of the, was it Handley? Handley Cellars? What year did Handley Cellars, Lulu's mom, start the company and win awards with her wines right off the hop? And become the first, was it the first American winemaker? Woman winemaker?
No, the first woman-owned
winery
or label.
Yes.
Woman-owned label in the U.S. Yes.
What year did that happen? If you can answer that, well, we still have a few of these fantastic New York postcards. They're going out every week, and people are getting them. You got one, didn't you, Catherine?
I sure did.
Yeah. So.
It's on my fridge.
They're great for your fridge, for your poster, your wall, whatever. But we do enjoy our wine, and we do enjoy opening with people all over North America and even the world. We did open, I'm not sure if you're aware, we opened a can with John Liu in Singapore a while back. That was...
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was fantastic. And the time difference with us is, 3 hours right now?
Yeah.
Well, with him it was 12 hours, so it led to a little bit of day drinking on my part, but you do have to make these sacrifices. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up here. The Canned Wine Podcast is a center stage production. I'm going to do that a little backwards. And thank you all for tuning into the Canned Wine Podcast, where we open cans of wine and we talk about them. And just because it comes in a can, like this 250 milliliter Chardonnay, doesn't mean you can drink and drive. Please enjoy responsibly. Sit at home, enjoy a few cans of wine, sit at the beach, have a designated driver, whatever you have to do, because this stuff creeps up on you. And at 13% alcohol, it doesn't take many for you to be in trouble. So drink responsibly, drink canned wine, enjoy yourselves, and have a great night.